name is Scarlett Hiller, and I'm the franchise partner for Expedia Cruises in Southwest Edmonton. Our travel talks are being offered to you by the 6 Edmonton cruise offices in the Edmonton area. These talks will hopefully provide you some thoughts and ideas for future travel when it's safe for you to do so. For those that have not attended a Zoom meeting, everyone is muted. You should choose, if you choose to show us your smiling face or not, you have control of your video. So you can turn it on or turn it off. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, please use the chat feature and we will either answer those via the chat feature or leave those questions until the end for Kim and or myself to answer them. In 2021, this will be our year to start traveling once it is safe to do so. Many people are starting to dream and perhaps plan their next vacation, me included. I can't wait to start traveling again. Our teams of travel advisors are here to help you every step of the way. So more than ever, the need for a travel advisor is so important. As a result of the pandemic, travel has become slightly more complicated, but our advisors at Expedia Cruises understands those complexities and will work hard to make sure that your trip is as safe and as seamless as possible. Our offices are open and our consultants are working hard from home as well. But because of provincial restrictions, if you want to come into the offices, please reach out to the office and make an appointment. You can reach us by phone or by email. So now to introduce our host of tonight's Travel Talk. Coming to us from Vancouver is Kim Lucy. She is our Western Canada Business Development Manager for Viking Cruises. She is here to present Viking Cruises from North America departures, highlighting both the Great Lakes and the Mississippi. And I hope you enjoy the presentation. Welcome, Kim.
Thank you. Share my screen. Well, welcome everybody, and thank you for joining me tonight. I am excited to be dreaming about the future, and it sounds like many of you are as well. So today I thought we would focus a little bit closer to home, although we are starting to really explore the world, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about Viking and where we go, but today we're really going to focus in on these products that are a little bit closer to home. So let's get started. What I'm going to do is turn off my camera so that you can see the full screen, and when I come back for questions, I will turn my camera back on and we can chat. I just found that sometimes it's nicer to have the full effect. So I'm going to turn my camera off now and I will see you shortly. So I'd like to start with just a little bit of a background on Viking. Viking has been around since 1997. We started 23 years ago in Russia with 4 ships sailing along the waterways of Europe, of Russia. We expanded in the early 2000s into Europe and further out into the rest of the world with our river ships. We now have 74 river ships that sail around the world. 64 of them are brand new ships that are sailing along the rivers of Europe. We also have added in 2015 a series of ocean ships, and by the end of this year we'll have 8 ocean ships sailing around the world as well. So with Viking, we have a huge opportunity for you to sail the world with a variety of different products. We travel to 7 continents, 95 countries. We visit 403 ports of call, 5 oceans, 20 rivers, and 5 Great Lakes. So today we're going to be focusing on those 5 Great Lakes with our expedition ship, and the Mississippi River in North America with our Mississippi ship. But if you do want to visit any other parts of the world, you can certainly do that by talking to your Expedia Cruise Ship Center travel consultant. We do world cruising as well as cruising literally all over the world. So as I mentioned, we started over 2 decades ago. And what we've done is build a series of products and ships that are intimate and able to take you right into the heart of the destination. And I think that's what makes us stand out. You can see here our beautiful ocean ships and our river ships. Our ocean ships are 930 passengers, and our river ships in Europe are just under 200 passengers. So it's easy to get to know people, and it's easy to move around, to get on and off. And one of the best things, I know everybody's concerned about space, and that's the great thing about the small ships that we've built, is that there's a lot more space per passenger, so people can feel comfortable getting that social distance. And in addition to that, you can check with your Expedia travel consultant, and they will let you know about some of the health and safety protocols, or the extensive health and safety protocols that we've put in place to keep you safe as we go forward. We have created innovative ships that are designed with green technology, and we've really done our best to reduce our carbon footprint and to take into consideration things that are going to help our environment. We also have designed them so that you're able to step off right in the heart of the destination, whether it's by river or by ocean. And we give you 4 different choices. So what you see here now is our Mississippi ship and our expedition ships. Now, our expedition ships are going to be exploring the polar regions, but we are going to be bringing them up to the Great Lakes. Now, that's obviously not an expedition destination, but we will have really fun toys that you're going to be able to play with in the Great Lakes, as well as exploring the destinations, the history, just like you would on a regular river cruise. So that product is going to be a little bit more like a combination of exploration and our river cruise experiences in Europe. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that as we go. Now, Viking has really designed our products for what we call the thinking person, or the curious traveler. And if you're like me, maybe that's what you like. You're interested in learning about the art, the history, the culture, the current affairs, what makes those countries tick in terms of the people and all of that. And we found that that's what our clients are looking for. So we have really designed destination-focused experiences, and we've added in shore excursions that are going to give you access and teach you about the local life, the working world, and also take you behind the scenes with privileged access. We also are going to bring on lecturers and entertainers and musicians that are going to share the cultural experiences with you right on board the ship. We've created these modern looking ships. So you'll see with the Mississippi, it's not a paddle wheeler, it is a real river ship. And you can see from those photographs, but throughout our products, you're always going to find the same standard of service, and you're also going to find the beautiful Scandinavian decor throughout. We do offer destination-focused dining, so you'll be able to try some of the local cuisine, whether that's Memphis barbecue or St. Louis barbecue, or even poutine if you're traveling up in Canada. We're going to give you a chance to try all of that. Plus, we have our always available steak, Caesar salad, and chicken, what I call comfort food. So you're always going to have a chance to fall back on that as well. And of course, you're also going to enjoy our award-winning service. So our excursions, and you'll see this both on the Great Lakes as well as in the Mississippi, we're going to use what we call our Viking way of exploration. And what that does, we break our tours up into sort of 3 categories. And if you're one of those people like me who loves to peek into people's houses and go to the markets and learn about how people really live, those opportunities are going to be there for you. If you like the working world experience, which teaches you about the economy and how things work in those countries, what drives their economies, you're going to have a chance through that program to learn as well. And then our privileged access takes you behind the scenes so you can really dig a little deeper, peek behind the curtain and see what's there. So here are some of the experiences you'll enjoy on our Mississippi, for example. Here we've got a visit to the John Deere Pavilion. Those of you that are in Alberta and maybe out on the farm, you maybe have a John Deere tractor. I've certainly seen plenty of them in my drives through the prairies. But the John Deere homestead is located in the Quad Cities along the Mississippi, and we have a chance to learn and visit that homestead. We'll get a chance to try some of the local cuisine at the restaurant 1818 and in the South. And also Working World takes you into to learn about local artistry with an art project, just to visit one of the oldest breweries, and privileged access. We'll teach you about the Cajun culture in New Orleans. So these are some of the things that you can look forward to, and we've built a lot more exciting things as well. So what's included? With Viking, we include virtually everything. We don't include everything simply because we don't want to charge people for things they don't use, but we do include most things, and the others are optional for you. So we include a shore excursion in each port of call. We include all the onboard meals, of course, including our alternate restaurants are complimentary. So you will find those on our Expedition to Mississippi ships. We include the beer, wine, and soft drinks with lunch and dinner. We include a specialty coffees and teas. So we have a cappuccino bar. We're going to have snacks and things there as well. Wi-Fi is included. Port charges and government fees are all included as well. So you're not going to find a lot of added extras. You're not going to be pulling out your wallet. We don't include gratuities, although we do add those to the onboard account. So you can make adjustments as needed, but it also allows you to prepay or use like shipboard credit offers if they're available towards those prepaid options. We don't include optional tours. So those would be digging a little bit deeper into an experience so you can really learn about it. And we also don't include soft drinks and alcohol between meals, but we do have a beverage package. But more importantly, we do have a no corkage policy. So you're welcome to pick up local wine, beer, spirits, and you can bring them back on the ship, and you can take them wherever you like on the ship as well, whether that's your stateroom, the dining room, the lounge, whatever you like. We're not there to police. And certainly because we're going to be traveling in North America, you're probably going to want to try some of the local stuff as well. So I hope you'll enjoy that part of it. So let's take a look at the Mississippi. As you can see, we have a beautiful ship. It's not a paddle wheeler. And it's kind of a hybrid of our river and our ocean ships. You'll find the balconies and some of the beautiful public rooms if you've sailed with Viking Ocean. If you've sailed on our river ships, you're also going to see the Aquavit Terrace, that beautiful bow lounge that you can sit right at the front and look right down the river. You're going to find some of the other goodies that we add on both products. So here's the ship outside St. Louis with the arch. And here's some of the interior shots. So this is our living room, which is where we'll be doing a lot of our lectures, but you can see it's got little conversation areas. So that's one of the key features of Viking. We want to make sure that people get a chance to engage with each other. So there's going to be these conversation areas. We've got places for you to meet with our experts and our lecturers. And we also have plasma screen TV, so you'll be able to follow these. Now, some stuff is changing a little bit with some of the health and safety protocols, but these ships are not sailing till 2022. So we're really hoping that by then we'll be back to somewhat normal. Here you have our River Cafe, which is our more casual dining area, and it feeds out into this beautiful terrace where you can sit under the stars and you can enjoy the scenery and just drink it all in. I think that that's going to be one of my favorite places to sit. And then, of course, we have our infinity pool. Now, it is just a plunge pool. It's not a real swimming pool or a lap pool. But I don't know about you guys. I can just imagine myself sitting there with my feet dangling over the edge, thinking I'm Mark or Tom Sawyer dangling my feet over the edge of the Mississippi River. I don't think you can fish, but you can still dream about it. So that's one of the nice features of these ships. And then, of course, we have the beautiful bow and explorer's lounge, 2 stories on the interior, but you've got this lovely area where you can sit and enjoy the view. From a stateroom point of view, we have all out veranda staterooms. So we do have our step out verandas. We have a couple of French balconies that are there. There are ADA approved staterooms, so those are not for sale to the general public, but they are there for guests who have mobility things that they want to take care of. So that's available. And then we have our a variety of staterooms. So your best bet here is to check with your Expedia travel consultant, and they'll be able to find you the best options. But let's dig into the itinerary, because I'm sure that's where you want to spend your time tonight, as I do. So the Mississippi River spans about 2,400 miles. It runs from the north all the way down to the southern, emptying into just outside of New Orleans into the Atlantic Ocean. It travels about 1.2 million square miles, and it's the third largest river in the world. It's the second largest river in the United States. The biggest one is the Missouri, and it's about 100 miles longer. It's actually a tributary with that. So this has been a trading route for centuries. It was first kind of discovered by a group of explorers in 1541. And it was in 1682 that a Frenchman who came down from Canada, actually, Robert de La Salle, reached the mouth of the Mississippi and claimed the entire area for France. Remember, at that time, that was part of France. A lot of people had settled from Acadia, from Canada, had moved down and became the Cajuns. And this became the largest real estate purchase in the world. It's called the Louisiana Purchase in 1803, when this part of the United States was sold to the United States. So the steamboats used to run up and down, and it became a prominent tributary during the Civil War as well, because the people who controlled the river won the war, so to speak. So it's now the home of Louis Armstrong, Elvis, Mark Twain, Frank Lloyd Wright, and 800 species of birds and wildlife. So there's a ton to see. Now we do offer 4 different itineraries. We start off in the southern reaches during the winter months. So it's a little bit cooler in the north. So we stay south. We travel in and out of New Orleans on an 8-day cruise called New Orleans and Southern Charms. We start to move a little bit further north towards Memphis as we get further into the year, and you'll be traveling on a one-way experience. And then as we get closer and deeper into the summer, we move north, basing out of St. Louis, and sail up to St. Paul. And then we do several cruises, about 3 of them per year, that do the full length of the Mississippi. So I thought I'd show you some of these a little bit more and give you a few highlights. And then I'm going to show you talk a little bit about some of the specific ports of call along the river. Now, there's so much to offer, and there's a ton of history and culture and music, and we will be sharing those with you, bringing on local experts. We'll be introducing you to some of that history as we go as well. So with New Orleans and Southern Charms, this one runs in December and January when it's a little bit cooler. We overnight in New Orleans, which I love. It's one of my favorite cities. So there's opportunities to, if you want to extend there. We have the New Orleans Cooking School. There's a lot of great things to see and do. And then we start to move north along the Mississippi, visiting some of the beautiful cities that are known for the plantation mansions, the antebellum houses that you've seen, and they're absolutely gorgeous. St. Francisville and Natchez are known as 2 of the most beautiful cities in the United States. They're very traditional. Vicksburg is a Civil War center with an outdoor museum, and Baton Rouge is the capital of Louisiana, with tons to offer as well. We then will start to move north towards Memphis, and here we're visiting many of those ports of call, but we're going to end in Memphis. So again, you've got options to stay a little bit longer. Once we move north, we move north about into the middle of June, start to sail up. We can't transfer into the northern part of the Mississippi till around the 4th of July. The reason being is that the water levels are a little bit too high, and they have a lot of those old wooden bridges that you might have seen in the bridges of Madison County if you ever read that book or watched the movie. So we sail up there through the summer months into October, and we're visiting some great spots: Hannibal, Quad Cities, which I mentioned, the home of the John Deere tractor; Dubuque, La Crosse, known for the work boots and the Red Wing pottery if you're a collector, and then on to St. Paul. Here is the 15 days. So if you really want to do the entire length of the Mississippi, you can go all the way from St. Paul to New Orleans, or vice versa. And this is a fantastic itinerary. It was so popular and beyond our expectation. The 2022 sailing sold out in about a week. We added one more cruise because we are limited by the water levels, and it sold out in 24 hours. 2023 is almost sold out as well. So if you're interested, it's really important to talk to some of our key to your Expedia consultant. So let's take a look at some of the ports of call that we visit along this amazing river. One of them is Hannibal. Hannibal, here you can see the statues of Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer. So this is a place that this is the home of Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn. So here you'll get a chance to walk in the footsteps of Mark Twain and the stories that he wrote. You can visit his childhood home. You'll be able to visit the cave where they used to hang out. And also it was the cave where Jesse James hid out as well, if you're familiar with that story. Also, you can see the home of the unsinkable Molly Brown. So lots of great stuff to see. And if you've read the books, it'll mean a lot more to you. And then we visit St. Louis. Now, a lot of people might think, yeah, St. Louis doesn't sound very interesting, but I was fortunate to go to St. Louis for a sales meeting years ago, and I loved it. There's so much to see, and of course, it has a very, very deep history in terms of music. It's the home of St. Louis Blues, and it's also the home of the National Blues Museum. So you'll be able to check that out. You've got the Gateway Arch Museum, which you see in the background behind the beautiful courthouse there. And you can go right up inside the arch to the very top, and you've got a great view. And where that statue is, you're right on the edge of the Mississippi River. So it's a really beautiful city. It's pretty to walk through. It's got great parks, but it's also has the it's the home of the oldest brewery in North America, the Anheuser-Busch Brewery, and you might remember that one from the Super Bowl with the incredible Clydesdales that are often shown in the commercials. So wonderful spot to enjoy a little bit of great blues music, and also try some of the barbecue. And then we're on to Memphis, and of course Memphis is the home of Elvis, and here we'll have a visit with go to Graceland and get a chance to explore. I didn't realize this when I was doing some research. Memphis is actually named after Memphis, Egypt, and it is the largest city on the Mississippi. So here you'll get a chance to explore some of the history. It was founded by Andrew Jackson in 1819, and it also has a great history with the civil rights movement. This is where Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated, and the National Civil Rights Museum is located here. We've also got Beale Street, which you're looking at here, which is famous for the music. This is where you're going to find the great blues bars, but you're also, this is where vaudeville was really popular during the early 1900s. This is also the home of Sun Studio, which is where Elvis, B.B. King, and Johnny Cash recorded, and also the Stax Museum of American Soul Music is here as well, and the Blues Hall of Fame. So some really great stuff too. If you're into music, you're going to love the city. If you're into food, you're going to love the city as well, because this is the home of Memphis barbecue. And the difference is St. Louis is sticky and sweet, and Memphis is dry and spicy. So you can do some comparisons while you're on board. And then from there, we're going to visit Vicksburg. Vicksburg is the center of the Civil War. This is where the Confederates surrendered to Ulysses S. Grant. And here you have the Vicksburg battle site, which is kind of a living museum. Outside, they do recreations. So you'll be able to have a visit with this. You can also see the USS Cairo Museum. And this is the original gun boat that used to prowl the river during the Civil War. So it's really a fantastic place to visit. And then on to New Orleans, which I had mentioned before. I love New Orleans, and it's not about Bourbon Street. That's why I chose this photo. I love this photo because it's actually the cathedral, and it shows you the beautiful architecture and the little streets that wind off from this particular cathedral. And that's where you're going to find the great restaurants, the lovely little boutiques, and some of the smaller music venues. Bourbon Street, of course, is famous, and it's a bit crazy. But the other parts of New Orleans are amazing, and you can visit the Garden District. If anybody read Anne Rice and the Vampire Chronicles or the vampire books during the 1990s, you'll be able to visit the Garden District and enjoy that. But it is the oldest city along the Mississippi, dating back to 1716. And here you'll get a chance to try the Cajun culture. There's a great food culture here. So the New Orleans Cooking School is available, and one of the things that we do as part of our pre and post. And there's also the a great World War II museum here as well. So tons to see and do. So that's a little taste of the Mississippi. We're going to move north now to the Great Lakes. Now, if you're like me, you probably thought, you know what, I am saving Canada for my retirement, and I'm going to go and explore more exotic destinations. But I've been fortunate to travel to 10 of the 11 provinces and territories, and I will tell you that we're pretty darn lucky to live in this country, and we're very, very lucky to be able to explore it. It offers so many things that we often travel far afield to see and forget that they're in our backyard. And this is a great photograph of Niagara Falls, and that's one of the great wonders of the world. So the Great Lakes it's going to be a lot of fun to explore if you've never been. The Great Lakes, there are 5 Great Lakes. They cover over 750 miles and have 10,000 miles of coastline. They connect the Atlantic Ocean to the St. Lawrence River, so they're very important. And they've been a great trading route over many, many years. It's a wonderland of diverse natural environments, iconic wildlife, and some really fascinating cities along the North American coastline. It also contains 21% of the world's fresh surface water by volume, and there are over 35,000 islands. So there's a ton to explore. The other cool thing is that a lot of ships have sunk in the Great Lakes. And with our expedition ship, we do have 2 submarines. So we'll be able to do some exploration, including over top of the Edmund Fitzgerald. For those of you who are fans of Gordon Lightfoot, that is a pretty famous one. So there actually are one of the very first ships to sink was in Lake Michigan. It was called the Griffin. And it was the first ship to ever sail the Great Lakes. It was caught in a storm in 1679 between Green Bay and, or en route to Green Bay. And all of the crew, 32 crew members were lost. And they actually think they may have found the wreck in 2004. But it was, there's a little bit of a dispute whether or not that's the wreck or if it was the one found in 2014. So you might be able to do a little exploration when we're out there. And then, of course, the Edmund Fitzgerald was sank in 1975, just 17 miles off the coast of the Whitefish Point on Lake Superior. So we will get a chance to do a little bit of exploration there, which is very cool. So here are some of the itineraries that we offer. This is a repositioning cruise. So if you're interested in seeing a little bit of the seaboard and also down along the St. Lawrence River, you can do this one. This is the Canadian Discovery, and it's 13 days repositioning from New York City. So you get to see a little bit of Halifax, the Maritimes, down through Quebec, Saguenay, Quebec City, Trois-Rivières, and then through the Seaway locks to Toronto. So these ships have been designed specifically for polar exploration, but narrower and longer than most expedition ships to give us access to some of the lock system in Canada, and particularly the Welland Canal. Undiscovered Great Lakes now sets off. This one goes between Thunder Bay and Milwaukee. So we're stopping in some ports along the US as well as Canada. I'm going to touch on some of these in a minute. And then Milwaukee to Thunder Bay, our Great Lakes Explorer. This one has really been popular. This one is Milwaukee to Thunder Bay with 3 days exploring in the Georgian Bay area. We also travel through the Sioux Locks. And then this one is super, super popular for those who want to see Niagara Falls. So this one we travel through the Welland Canal to Niagara Falls. We do have a tour that's going to take you out on the Maid of the Mist. So you can get right down to the falls and behind them, which is really fun. Detroit, Mackinac Island, Traverse City, and into Milwaukee. So let's have a look at some of the ports of call. We'll start off in Toronto, and I know you may not have been a tourist in Toronto. I've been in and out of Toronto many times for work. But I have only once or twice had the opportunity to actually be a tourist. And it is a very cool city to explore. It has so many really interesting ethnic communities that you can get in and try, fantastic food and listen to music and be part of it. You've of course got the CN Tower, the Royal Ontario Museum, its own castle, Castle Loma. The Toronto Islands are fun to get on a ferry and explore a little bit. One of my favorite places to see was the Hockey Hall of Fame. You can't get more Canadian than that. They actually had the Stanley Cup. Now I realize in Edmonton, you guys have probably seen it a million times during the great Gretzky era, but it was pretty cool to see the Hall of Fame. There's a distillery district, so there's tons to see and do here, so you can enjoy it as well. And then from there, we'll travel through the Welland Canal into Niagara Falls, and of course, Niagara Falls was known and still is as one of the premier honeymoon destinations. It has some great stories to tell. There's only a few people that have gone over the falls and survived. The last one being a young boy who was, I think he was about 8, and he was the only one to go over the falls without any protection and live. I think it's probably because he was so small that he just kind of just went with it. But the falls are 170 feet high. The brink of the falls is about 2,500 feet from one side to the other. And it really is amazing to see. Now in the area also, we've got Niagara on the Lake, which is known for the incredible art festival, but also great wineries in this area. So there's going to be a variety of things to see and do in this area, not to mention some of the history of the area as well. The Welland Canal is its own really important history. From there, you may have an opportunity to go up to Georgian Bay, and we stop in 3 different places in Georgian Bay. There are 30,000 islands, and it comprises a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve. The Georgian Bay is at the northeastern arm of Lake Huron, so it's kind of cottage country. And we'll be visiting Killarney, Parry Sound, and a Little Current. It also encompasses the Bruce Peninsula National Park. So you can walk along or hike along the Bruce Trail along the Niagara Escarpment. And you can also, this is where you find the most preserved shipwrecks. There are 19th century lighthouses and some really amazing rock formations. So we'll be doing a variety of things here. I was actually on a call this week with our leader who's building this program, and we were brainstorming. He was telling me some of the great things he's got planned. So it's not going to be just for people who are super active that want to get in kayaks. It's going to be for people who are interested in history, who want to learn a little bit about the First Nations culture, who might want to go fishing, maybe some hiking. We might have some e-bike experiences. We've got a ton of stuff that are going to, so that's why I say it's a little bit more like a river cruise expedition combination as opposed to hardcore expedition. So I think you're going to have a lot of fun with this one. We also visit the little 4-mile island called Mackinac Island. And it is no vehicles. You have to travel by horse and carriage while you're in Mackinac Island. It has a really fantastic 1812 restored fort. So you can learn about the British and the Americans fighting back and forth in this area. They were constantly fighting with each other and blowing things up. So it's a great story. You also see this hotel, which is famous. There are, I think, 6 presidents who have vacationed here, and that you can enjoy this wonderful hotel. And then we visit the Apostle Islands in Wisconsin. And this is a series of about 21 islands, 12 miles of mainland coast. And it has the most amazing rock formations. So this National Lakeshore has more lighthouses than any other site in the system. There are 9 historical towers on 6 different islands and over 240 species of birds that migrate through this arpeggio. So if you become a bird watcher during COVID, and I know a lot of people have, you will love the stop here and also at Point Pelee, which is another migratory area. There's some fantastic hiking in here, and you can also, we'll be doing some kayaking here. You can just imagine. But if you're not a kayaker, we also have 12 cedar ribs, so I'll explain a little bit more about those, but you won't be left out. There is lots to see and do. And then we're going to visit Detroit. And Detroit is, a lot of people think, Detroit, but it is a very important center. Of course, it's the home of Motor City. It's where really the automobile industry is located and developed. And here you also have the Henry Ford Museum, which you're looking at right now, which includes some really amazing exhibits, including JFK's limousine and Thomas Edison's recreated laboratory. There's also an art and architectural district that is apparently absolutely fantastic. I haven't seen that, but it also has a museum with all the with all the information about all the shipwrecks in the Great Lakes. So that might be fun to explore as well. So that just gives you some highlights as we are traveling through the Great Lakes, and maybe entice you to come and see a little bit more of your own backyard. But let's take a look at the ships. So these ships, we have two of them, the Polaris and the Octantis, named for the North and Southern Star. The Octantis is the one that's going to be traveling through the Great Lakes. So it's brand new. The first one was just launched. It actually did its sail out about 2 weeks ago. So we're pretty excited to have that getting ready to join us in 2021. But again, it has beautiful indoor spaces with lots and lots of windows. Here you've got our atrium, which is kind of like the lobby that you saw on the Mississippi ships. This is probably more reminiscent to our ocean ships, so you're seeing something similar. We have this amazing theater called the Aula, and this is that theater, that screen that you see is designed to slide up into the ceiling, and it opens out onto our back deck. So when our experts are here talking about the birds or the some of the other things, even some of the historical lectures, they'll be able to open up this and you can go right out onto the deck, take a look, and be able to see things live. So this is something that's really unique. And then this outdoor space where you can enjoy the view. We have an indoor-outdoor pool that if anybody's been to the Fairmont or to Banff, you can go in the pool on the inside and you swim underneath the wall and you're out into the outdoor pool. We have that on board this ship as well. We also have our beautiful Explorers Lounge where people can enjoy the view. It is an outdoor promenade so that you can get outside at the bow of the ship. And we've got 2 stories, so there's lots to see and do. Expedition Central is where everybody's going to be hanging out. This is where our specialists will be. This is where you can see where the ships are going and what we're expecting to see. We also have in Expedition Central, be able to meet with specialists from for example, the ornithologists from the Cornell University who are going to be here doing research, and they are going to be doing photography workshops to teach you how to take amazing pictures of some of the birds you're going to see. So you'll have a chance to learn as well. There's a lot of interesting flora and fauna, and of course we're in the Canadian Shield, so there's a ton of great stuff to learn. Now we are going to be working with real scientists through these scientific partnerships. So we have an active lab where you'll be able to go in on visiting hours and you may even be able to participate in some of the research that's being done. So we're working with the Scott Polar Research Institute. We'll be doing that more in the polar regions. They're associated with the University of Cambridge in the UK. We have endowed a professorship there, or a chair, and we'll be working closely with their professors and doctoral students. They'll all be applying for grants to come on board our ships to work on real research. So we aren't going to know until about 6 months prior who's coming and what research they're going to be doing, but that's going to be very fun for you, I think, if you've got a little scientific bent. We're going to be working with the Cornell Lab of Ornithology, as well as NOAA and GLOA, the Great Lakes atmospheric programs as well. And their experts are going to be helping to develop some of the tours that we're going to be offering you as well. So you'll be able to explore all kinds of things. There's a ton of really interesting information to learn there while we're there. And you'll be able to do it on some of this great expedition equipment. So we have a fleet of Zodiacs. So you'll be able to explore some of the coastline. And I also heard in some of the places we are going to be going to some uninhabited islands in the Great Lakes. So you'll be able to get off and hike and do some exploration. We're going to be able to anchor and launch into places where you don't have to come driving in. So we'll be able to get into places where there aren't lots of people. And that's one of the big advantages of Viking in the Great Lakes. We have 2-seater kayaks that you can paddle and pedal. So if you want to take pictures or look through your binoculars, you will be able to keep moving with your feet and not miss anything. We also have our 2 6-seater submarines, which are complimentary to our guests. So we're going to be able to play with those up in the Canadian part of the Great Lakes. So it's going to be fun. We don't charge for those. You'll obviously have to make some reservations, I guess, but it's going to be very interesting to get down over some of those sunken ships, I think. I'm super excited about this. And then we have 12-seater ribs for those who may not want to get in some of these other equipment. They want to just get out and see the coastline. These are, they can be covered or uncovered, and we launch from inside the ship. So you don't even have to worry about trying to get on the ship from one moving vessel to another moving vessel. You'll be able to board these from the interior, and we launch it like a boat off your boat launched into the lake. So for those of you who are worrying about whether or not you can do this, it's too active or it's not, you know, we've got a little of everything for everybody. And this is what your staterooms look like. Again, similar to the Mississippi, but beautifully appointed sitting rooms. All of them have large windows. This is actually called the Nordic balcony for the polar regions because it slides down from the top. It creates a nice little shelf so you can take pictures and or look through your binoculars, have fresh air. But and you'll be able to also non-glare glass you can take pictures through. We have heated bathrooms. We have warming closets. So if you're wet, you can put your expedition gear in the warming closet. Hopefully you won't have to do that in the Great Lakes, but you never know. We do get rain every once in a while. And so that gives you a taste of what we've got to offer. Now, I wanted to just give you just a little, I guess, a peace of mind. I know a lot of people are worried about booking stuff because we don't know what the future looks like. But I'm one of those people that is anxious to travel again. I'm one of these people that's also, I also get more excited if I have something to look forward to. So we recognize that a lot of our guests want to do that. So we have created a risk-free guarantee program that's good. Actually, it's being extended into February. So good news for you. I found that out today. And this allows you to book your cruise, make your payments, and if for any reason you have to cancel, you can do so up to 24 hours prior to departure, and you will get a voucher for all your monies paid, good for 2 years, 24 months to use on a future cruise. So you're not going to worry about losing your money if something happens. So you also have there's some other options here, but that I think gives people that peace of mind to go ahead and take the plunge, plan for your bucket list trip, and not wait to see what's going to happen. Because I will assure you, once people start traveling, once this vaccine hits that breaking point, people are going to start booking, and already we're seeing it. I was talking to the team earlier before the call, and we were already booking. We have sold out of our world cruises for 2022 and 2023. That's how much people want to catch up on cruising, or catch up on their bucket list backup, is what I'm calling it. Because mine's backed up, I haven't been able to travel. So please take advantage, talk to your Expedia Cruise Ship Center consultant, because our Mississippi is almost completely sold out for 2022. We're taking bookings for 2023. Our Great Lakes, we do have open for 2022 and 2023, but some of those itineraries, particularly the ones for Niagara, are starting to book up. So I wanted to just, I'll turn my camera back on. We can take a look. I know Scarlett is monitoring questions, and I am happy to answer anything you got. So I hope I've inspired you a little bit to dream about the future, to dream about North America, and to come and sail with us and try it out.
All right, you have one question for Kim, and it is about reduced rates or discounts for single travelers. Or would the rate be double the cost?
Yeah, I'm sorry to have to give you bad news. I always hate that question because I always feel bad to have to say I'm sorry. Because of the size of the ships, we have 200% for our solo travelers. Now, we do run promotions, usually closer to departure, usually within the year of departure, as part of a top-up program. But because the ships are only 300, these ships are under 400 passengers, the 368 and 380 passengers, that's not a lot of space. And we just can't, it comes down to supply and demand. So I appreciate those that are traveling by themselves. I know what that's like. Um, and I'm sorry to have to say, you either have to wait till closer to sailing or you're going to have to pay 200%. So sorry. What else have we got? Do we have any questions?
That is it for questions that were in the chat. But if you have any other questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to your travel consultant, and they will be able to answer all of those important questions so you can better understand your future booking. So thank you very much for joining us for tonight's travel talk. Thank you, Kim, for providing us this great information. And thank you to all of our guests for joining us as well. Hopefully Kim has inspired you to add the Great Lakes and the Mississippi to your travel bucket list. Next week's travel talk will be with Celebrity Cruises. So hopefully you can join us for that as well. And make sure you invite any friends or family that would like to attend these travel talks as well. Everybody is welcome. And hopefully you can start working towards planning those future trips. Like Kim mentioned, there is lots of travel demand. 2022, 2023 are already booking and selling very, very quickly. So don't hesitate to reach out to your travel consultants and they will guide you to find you the perfect trip for you. So thank you very much for attending, and good night, everyone.